What's up? Hey, Uber. What's going on, buddy? How you doing? Me and you're the first ones. How you been? Rock and roll. Man, I got fucking been putting these new lights in my place. I got dust everywhere. It looks like I did cocaine. I got so much drywall dust up my grill. Mr. Galfy. Hey, Miss Woods, how are you? Good to see everybody. Mr. Mike, what going on? Oh yeah, guys, is this me or is this like the? Hey Hugh, how you doing? What's going on? Guys, give us 2 minutes. As you know, I'm always five minutes late. Today, 5 minutes early. Danny, how you doing, brother? Yeah. What's going on in California, bro? Mr. Hadney, what's up? Mr. Hadney, you're referring to our stock chat room or the crypto one? Hold on, let me grab my watch. I just got out of the gym. Don't mind my redneck attire. Sometimes you got to go to the gymnasium and work out them muscles. Hey, Daniel Leon, what's up, baby? How are you? Yeah, well, I mean, I trade both cryptos and stocks, but I don't combine them in one chat room. It'd be crazy. Not crazy, but crypto traders usually don't trade stocks, but stock traders almost always trade cryptos. They are growing a little bit. You like that? 35 years old, still got it. All right, let's get started. Let's go do what we do. Let's be good. Let's be great. Guys, so it's 5 p.m. You know what that means? It's showtime. We've got a lot to talk about. So in the last week, we've had a tremendous rise in Bitcoin and some of these other coins. The last 24 hours, we have had a pullback. Now, when people think of pullback, they get a little bit nervous, don't they? You know, a lot of times because of just what happened, when you think of pullback, you're thinking of, holy crap, like, you know, we just, by the way, there we go. It's like, holy crap, we just had this epic pullback and now, you know, we don't have, are we going to crash again? Well, that's not been, that doesn't look like it's going to be the case. We are pulling back strongly, but it doesn't look like it's a straight up crash so far. Guys, remember that no market goes up forever. If you think about what Bitcoin has done, it has gone from 5,900 to almost 12,000. That's a huge number. And so now we've got to come in and figure out what's going on, you know, and prepare ourselves for that. Nobody should have been buying Bitcoin in the 11,000, 11,500 unless it's for day trades anyways. Nobody should be doing that for investments. There's a difference between a day trade and an investment. Investments, you get them low, right? And you want to sell them high. Day trades, essentially, you're buying high and selling higher, right? You're playing the momentum. Right now, I mean, I haven't taken any long trades today. I've just been shorting ETH on some of the pops and stuff like that. We took a couple of ETH shorts in the chat room. Somebody had sent me a message a couple of weeks ago saying Kraken's been working really well. I reopened my Kraken and been kind of playing around shorting ETH. But let's go into the charts, figure out where we got to go, what do we got to do, and then from there, we'll come up with a game plan for next week and kind of where we see things. You guys let me know when you can see my charts. Cool. So let's first take a look. So this is your daily chart for BTC. So a couple things to always think about when you're looking at charts to figure out levels of where things can go. Okay, where can things go? So yeah, coming from 5,900, when you're running into kind of this type of resistance here, you know, you've got your 50 SMA or something like that, right? What's this? 50 SMA. So that's a significant level of resistance. The other part that happened is when you're thinking about runs, what we want to always stay away from is buying Bitcoin when you get into an extreme overbought situation. So we use a stochastics indicator to tell us when something is overbought, oversold. And you can see here, like Bitcoin it was as most overbought as it's been since January, the first couple of weeks of January. So it was really overbought. So you're running into the 50 SMA, you're extremely overbought. And then we hit this downtrend trend line, right? So this trend line was basically just represents the downtrend, and we need to kind of break over that to get going. So essentially what has happened is a perfect storm of you've already had a big run, you've doubled in price, you're hitting your 50 SMA, you're hitting your downtrend line, and you're really extremely overbought. And so when you look at trades, right, you always want to be looking for those perfect storms scenarios, right, where you have a confluence. Does anybody know what confluence means? A confluence or even a convergence of different things that can happen so that, you know, it can thrust something up or down, right? We want to trade around those. And so that's all that's happened. We've run into some resistance and we're pulling back. Now the question becomes, what is the nature of the pullback, right? What is the nature of the pullback? And when we're pulling back, you know, what is, hold on here, you know, where's it going to fall to? So one thing to kind of really think about here is I'm just going to reformat something here. My volume always switches here. This is supposed to be green. This one's supposed to be red. I always try to save it, but whatever. So what's going to be the volume on the pullback, right? So right now we've got kind of a normal volume day for the most part compared to its last few. So nothing too crazy on the selling. So now it's just a matter of really lining up potential support spots. Remember, most likely we're just pulling back because we're really extended and overbought. So what we want to start doing is coming up with some potential support spots. So you can see for a long time, this 10,000 area on a psychological, but also a price level was very, very important. So now we have, now we've got a potential, right? Some potential levels. So when you, before the fall, right, we came down and tested this kind of 10,000 level like quite a few times before it finally broke down. And so that could be a potential support spot. On a psychological level, 10% is pretty good too. In terms of the pullbacks, when I look at pullback, I want to see a multi-day pullback, not some one red candle kind of down day to 10,000, right? I want to see a multi-day pullback. So my guess is we don't really stop necessarily at 10,000. You know, we may pull back a little bit more into that, you know, 9,000, 8,500 range, but that would give us some nice entries. It'd kind of work off that overbought condition and allow us another thrust into this resistance spot, which would, you know, at that point, you know, you'd probably get a breakout of this. And if you do break out of this trend line, then, you know, I could see Bitcoin kind of making its way back. Will it get to 20,000? I'd be surprised if it gets back to 20,000 anytime soon. I mean, it's a far ways away, and you would really need some big momentum. The one thing is, though, when Bitcoin does start to move, it'll do it in a handful of days. You know, you'll see it at 8,000 one day, and then, you know, 5-6 days later, it'll be at 20,000. That's how the runs usually start. You know, it won't be a slow thing. It'll be a big race to get into them. You'll see these big candles and stuff like that really make it go. So when we come in, I think I'm not looking to buy it at 10,000. To me, that's not enough reward to risk, meaning like, you know, if it tops out in the 11s and it pulls back to 10, I mean, that's 10%, give or take, but that's not really, to me, enough reward. You know, I think when you think about convergence and confluence, my man Pygaz was mentioning, you know, the Fibonacci retracements are kind of in the low 8s. So if you think about that, you know, and a lot of people use Fibonacci's also for cryptos, you know, you've got a confluence of different things kind of in that, between that 8,000, 9,000. You've got a lot of different supports here in terms of price. You got some moving averages. And then just in a common sense basis, you know, if you go from 12,000 down to kind of 8 or 9, now you've given back kind of a good 30-40% gain. And that's going to give us a little bit more reward and allow us to work off that oversold, you know, that overbought reading. And we may even get into the oversold reading and get a nice push into it. So those are kind of the different things I'm seeing. Would I be surprised if we kind of stopped at 10,000 and just bounced right back? No, I wouldn't be surprised. It's more a matter of would I buy it, right? It could happen, and it just might actually, 50-50. But is it would I buy it? No. When I'm looking to buy, you know, I want some real reward for my risk. On the other side of things, you know, the Ethereum has pulled back nicely. You know, it ran almost to 1,000. So it got to about 980. You're down to 820. So you're pulling back a little bit around here. And then now you're starting to get into some levels. So Ethereum's a little bit more tricky. It doesn't have any obvious stops, obvious spots where you could go in and be like, okay, this is where the support is. That's my worry with this one is it looks okay. Frankly, you know, I do think it's probably got a little bit more, you know, a little bit more range to fall, but it doesn't necessarily give us an easy-go-lucky spot. So, you know, maybe it's 800, 700, could be the 770, and nothing ever works exactly. But one thing I will watch is this old flag breakout does seem to kind of might give us a little bit of traction around here, but this one's a little bit harder to read. And so when that happens, you know, I'll probably look more on an intraday basis to time my entry. In the meantime, though, it does look like, you know, it's got another short setup coming in it. You can see here, like we took a short in this in the morning. And it looks like, you know, it's starting to kind of set back up for another short. It seems like these pops are getting faded off. So, you know, we may see some more downside in this bad boy. I've been shorting this stuff on ETA on Kraken, and it's been working pretty darn good. So I'd kind of keep an eye on that one. I think it's got a little bit lower to go, but, you know, once we get into those kind of mid sevens, we're going to have some nice locations to potentially get along on this thing. The trend is not over. It just happens to be that, you know, we came a long way. From 500 to almost 1,000 is a double, right? So if something pulls back a double, common sense says it should probably give back, you know, give back half of that gain before it restarts back up. And so we're kind of just cruising back along, but I think we may kind of come back here and bust below 800 here. You know, but I think that one's going to need a little bit more work. Man, Litecoin, we shredded this thing so hard. And then I was totally loaded in this thing. I had almost 400 shares this bad boy at one point. But you can see, like, this thing, you know, it had the move of moves. You know, it came out of its breakout. So it came out of this range here. And, you know, we hit this thing at 162 and, you know, just stop under. And we had some really nice trades in it. we hit pretty much every single one of these flags in the chat room. It had a really, really nice trade in it. Now it's like, you know, it looked so hot yesterday. And man, I'll tell you what, I was excited. I was ready to explode in this thing. And it kind of just dumped out a little bit. You know, so you can see like yesterday was showing your like quintessential flat top breakout. I had so many damn shares of this thing. You know, had a really, really nice pattern going. And it looked like it. So I hit it about 242.80s, popped up a few bucks, not enough to really sell. And then it was like, I had to sell this out at about 238. You know, when I started busting over this. That type of candle is just a reversal candle anyways. Sometimes, look, guys, you can have, remember this for the rest of your life. Sometimes you can have the best pattern, and it just may not work. The key is, like, as soon as that pattern reverses and you bust under your EMAs, you've got to bust out of that thing really, really quickly. Otherwise, you know, you'll have, like, right, you can always get by. You can always come back from a small loss, but, right, you can't come back always from a big loss. You know, you lose 5, 10 grand, you know, you're going to be hurting for a long time. You know, you lose, you know, $3, $4, 4 points. It's just 1 or 2%. That's not even a big deal. You know, something always to kind of remember is that perfect pattern, and it looked pretty good. I mean, I was ready to rip this thing. And on the daily, it looked like it was going to break out too. You could see, like, on the daily, you had that really nice pattern here. And over 230 was kind of this resistance, 230, 240. And, boop, you know, no good. That, you know, that can happen. What are you going to do? I took the loss. It wasn't a huge loss, you know, 4 points or whatever, which is nothing, right? Because you want to try to catch 20, 30.1s. Now, in terms of Litecoin, we do have a lot of support in this kind of 200 to 190 zone. I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of comes back in here. Keep an eye at 200, though, for potential reversal. And the reason 200 is just that number is going to mean something for Litecoin. You know, people like those kind of round numbers in general. But also it's a psychological support, right? You know, once you get back into the ones, now you're a onesie. If you stay in the twos, you're a twosie. But I think somewhere in this range, we're going to probably find some support. If it can't hold that 200 spot, then, you know, you may just start to see this thing drift back down. It was a really powerful, powerful move. You know, obviously this thing has gone up over 100%. Now it's just a matter of really coming in and doing this again, right? So hopefully this thing holds about 200-ish. That's the area I'm looking to potentially get some. To then it's in no man's land. And guys, when something's in no man's land, then it's no trade. What I mean by no man's land is, look, you can either be at breakout or you can be at support, but you can't be in between, right? If you're in between, then you're in no man's land. You're a tweener. You know, they call that in the business, in the stock business, the penis in between us, right? It's the guy that sits in the middle of the back seat. You're not right nut and you're not left nut. You're just in between, right? And that's nowhere to go. And so for us, we want to make sure that we're either up at this breakout spot or we're down here at support, but that we're not just playing it in the middle trying to time a bounce. Guys, timing bounces is one of the quickest ways to lose money if you do it too early. What do they say? What's the term in the trading vernacular? Right? Bottom pickers, stinky fingers. That's always been the case. And so don't get in front of this as it's coming back. Really let it set up. Because once it starts to set up, you'll have, and what I mean by setup is, right, let a pattern really emerge. Because once you do that, you know, you're going to have time to get into this thing and really nail it. So it looks okay, but it's got a little bit more ways to pull back. Same type of thing with this ETC. This was like the hot momentum one the last so many days. This went from 13 to 42. Now it's kind of back to 30, but it's just kind of stuck in the range. You know, you don't know necessarily where this thing's going to pull back to, but it does seem to be the strongest out of that group. Probably the one that we need to keep an eye on. It looks, you know, it could break out any day over this kind of 42. You can see that 42, 43 spot has rejected it now 3 times. So maybe the 4th time's the charm. The reason it keeps getting rejected off 43, anybody know why it keeps getting rejected off this 43? It's too extended running into it, right? When you come into resistance, you want to have your moving averages kind of curling up right up under it. You know, if you're too extended running into it, what's going to happen is you're going to end up with an extended ticker that's overbought. And if you try to break out when you're extreme overbought like that, you're going to have a really, really tough time having the energy to break out. Remember, breakouts are all just about energy. Do we have enough energy to bust loose? And I find that, you know, anytime you're running 3-4 days in a row into a breakout spot, you're going to be too tired to keep breaking out. A coin or a stock, they're like people. You run a marathon into the breakout spot, you're going to be tired, right? You're going to need a little bit of rest. And that's kind of what's going down with this ETC. So we'll see when it comes back up for the 4th time. And, dude, if it does, this time we'll let those moving averages curl up under it, and we'll get this thing going. So I would keep this definitely on your list, by the way, guys, for this coming week. You can trade ETC at Kraken. You know, they have it at Bittrex, and they have it at Binance but you'd have to trade in the BTC pair. Oh, yeah. That's right, Danny. Let's take a look at some of these other bad boys. BCH, yeah, no real pattern there. NEO is one of my faves, you know, for whenever we start getting a bounce. It's just got the hottest range sometimes. You know, it trades on Binance. The only issue is now it's like we can't really trade USDT as much because there's all this news out on it. So, you know, you got to do it in the BTC pair, which is awful. Because if you're buying the BTC pair about keeps running. I mean, you're not really going to get any traction on this. But you can see, like, you kind of keep – it's been testing this downtrend line too. Man, you just need to come in and come up. But when NEO moves, you're right. It really moves. Yeah, I wonder if Kraken's got the NEO. Let me see. Nope. Hose. They don't. They don't. Yeah, NEO's my favorite trader out of the group, man. I trade on Binance all the time. It really moves. So this will be one of my faves once this thing starts to go. You just have to be aware. Like, you may not be able to trade that USD pair. Any day the news is going to come out on this, and they're either going to say this thing's worthless or they're going to say it's not. You know, but it's a huge risk. I like to just, particularly for myself, I like to look at things in dollar terms because it just makes it easier for me to see. If you're looking at the actual, if you're looking at the BTC pair, you know, it's not so bad. It's kind of just stuck in a little bit of range here. We really need to break that kind of hold support here, kind of come back and break that 115. The rest of this is all junk. IOTA barely could catch a bounce at this point. I'm not very high on this name anymore. It couldn't even really get up to its 50-day moving average. EOS, same thing. You know, it's like with the EOS, you came down, then you popped up, but you couldn't even get to the 50-day moving average or close to it. It just looks like a big bear flag at this point. One thing to remember about a lot of these names is that, you know, they used to all be like 50, 60 cents just a few months ago. So, you know, even when you're at $8, man, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like, it doesn't mean that you have, you know, anything worthwhile on that. So, I'll probably leave that one alone. CwK, man, this thing was hot for a while, and now it's dead. Bat, dead. So a lot of these things are kind of just, a lot of these penny ones have not taken any, a lot of the penny cryptos haven't gotten any traction of recent. Even with Bitcoin and all these things bouncing, these penny ones have been left for dead. XTV, right? All these things are just, they're just kind of marinating here for a while. We're going to need a little bit more work to get these things going. Hey, Jerry, what's going on? Dude, me too. Roger, you're 100% right. The USDT was just the easiest spot to keep money in because you didn't have to worry about it fluctuating. So let me just get back to this, just so we just are all clear, right? BTC's got probably a little bit more to pull back. It could bounce at 10, so don't, watch the 10 mark just because it's a big mental area. But more likely the hot reward is going to be in that, 8 to 9,000 range. That's where it's going to be. And if it holds and we test into this downtrend line the fourth time, we should be able to pate and really have ourselves a nice entry point. But in the meantime, we just don't want to get in front of it. Like, you try to bottom pick this. Well, I mean, anytime you want to bottom pick, it's going to look cheap, and then it can keep going down. Hey, Tricky Travie, what's up, baby? Hey, I'm going to take a look past 12 for sure. Good. What are you guys looking at? I heard LSK. Hey, Josh, by the way, man, I got to get one of those cool little setups that all the other YouTubers have where I don't have to switch back and forth from Hangouts to screen share. It's like I can have my majestic face along with the screen share. Hey, Crypto Phil, what's up, baby? Long time no see. I personally have not. I have not used BitMEX before. I heard people use it, but I didn't know if it was like a broker where you just trade, or I keep seeing 100-1 leverage. So is it derivatives? Is it options? What's going on with those things? I didn't really understand that one. Yeah, I only use Google Hangouts for these YouTubes. So it's a contract. So yeah, okay, let me look up this. Yeah, I'm not a big into too much leverage. A little bit, sure, but I don't want to get too. Like, I'm a wild man. You put leverage in front of me, it's like putting cocaine in front of. It's like putting cocaine in front of somebody. You don't want me to have that leverage. Yeah, I'll be doing hookers and blow in no time. All right, so let's take a look at this LSK. A bunch of people have asked about the LSK. LSK search. So this one's like just a little bit of a choppy mess for the most part. It just pops and comes back, pops, comes back, pops, come back. So if you like this thing, you kind of want to buy this in the bottom of the range. I'd wait till it's a teenager before I'd be shorting on this. Hey, Jacob, by the way, I got an email from you, I believe. I got to answer you back last week. What was I going to say? Yeah, I just go straight USD. I don't like the BTC pairs. So LSK, I'd let this thing come back a little bit before you kind of get interested in it. It started to drop a little bit, but I probably can't let it come back a little bit more before I get interested. Pie guys, you're totally right. Sub. Well, there's no sub. I guess we'll look at the sub. So this thing is Ganar. You gotta definitely stay away from this one for now. look, it may get a dead cat bounce just because it's really oversold, 5 stochastics. So, you know, you may get a bounce up into this 7 or 8, but at that point, if it doesn't really have a lot of volume, probably just got to let this one go. I mean, it's down a lot. It's Ganar. Ganar is, you know, Ganar's nice sometimes, but Ganar is not always nice. Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of alts. Unless you think you can get a 100% gain, it's really tricky. I don't have a CLP. What other tickers you guys got? There's really not much to game plan right now. You know, we're just waiting for the dip to come, and then we hit it. In the meantime, you know, we just got to wait. And we had a really, I don't know about you guys, but we had a really fun time trading this big run up, you know, in Ethereum and LTC and some of these things. So BNB's been a big kind of easy trader for me too. I love trading this thing. James Braun, what's up, baby? HKN, I don't got an HKN. Yeah, ZCL was nice, but this happens in kind of a shady market sometimes. You'll have like a nice pattern like this, guys. So say like your quintessential flag pattern. That's beautiful. So like as this thing starts to really tighten up and you break your trend line, you know, you can put a stop under that 9 EMA. Yeah, it actually it popped about 30, 40, 50%. I mean, you still would have taken most of your profits. Now it's kind of come back and retested it. It should hold here. You know, so this is what we call a breakout, pull back to support when you retest. So you don't want to just blindly buy it, but if you get a green candle to hold, you can take this trade and kind of push it back to the high side here. Really use simple, when the market's a little bit shady, use very, very simple techniques, right? Breakout, pull back. But when the market's shady, you want to have a little bit more confirmation. So rather than just blindly buying because you could keep going down and down and down, even though you're at support, what you want to do is have a green candle start to form, right? So you got a green candle to hold. So that way you know that area is going to hold. And then, you know, you could take this thing and trade it back up to about 0.02 or 0.019-ish. Good, good, good. What else? I couldn't find CLT. Hey, Mr. Mark, how are you, sir? Which pair? BTC? Ooh, okay. Okay, this one now. Thanks, Brian. This one looks good. So you have this beautiful trend here. Now, you know, a lot of the easy money's obviously been made, but it's come back down to some support. So the first thing that happens, you broke your downtrend line. So that's good. Now, the key when you break a downtrend line is, do you hold above? So what you want to do is when you break your downtrend line, right, you want to hold above and then build. Trading is all about building your base. Remember that your coins get their power from consolidations in those bases. So now you're building above your downtrend line, right? You're building this. And so now you're building a new range here. And frankly, yeah, if you can come back out of this, I think you could go back up to those highs. I'm going to put this on my list too. Oh, no, I can definitely look at is it a stock? I can look VTI. I'll definitely take a look. I'm Mr. Stocks, Paul. You don't gotta ever. I'm Mr. Stocks. We always gonna look at stock. Good. So let's add that to our list. I like that. GTO. Let me see how it looks in the BNB pair. Because I usually, BNB's easy to keep around. Woo! See, it's a little bit better in the BNB pair where it was. You see, like you broke the downtrend line, then you held above, you flagged out, and now you're already off the races. That's why, guys, keeping an eye on the best pair is always important. I would have definitely taken this on the BNB pair. But now the BTC pair, since BTC is going down, could get hot. Yeah, I'm not into buying these pumps. Everybody loves a good pump, huh? Pump and dumpers should go to jail. Little fuckers. Like, how's that not illegal? I see it. So it's a one-day pump. I try not to even get involved in the stocks that have, or the coins that have been pumped. And the reason is that, man, once they've been pumped, there's so many bag holders in those things that they never, man, they take forever to just get back. Yeah, so then you get all these damn bag holders that are like holding on to this thing for dear life. So then anytime it pops, you know, you get some asshole who's been just fucking scammed by some newsletter and stuck in a pump. And he doesn't know it's a pump, right? And then all of a sudden, you know, he's selling as soon as he gets his money back or close to it. Hate trading stuff that's been pumped, mostly because I feel bad for the people, but then also because they're going to leave some bag holders around. Oh, yeah. Getting a little creep leak on this ETH. A little rounding. Sometimes these patterns, these type of rounding patterns, they can be used for kind of quick day trades. So it's just essentially like a W pattern, right? So well, we call them 1, 2, 3s. So, but they look like W's. You see, like, whoop. When you get so far away from your VWAP, you know, you often get these kind of counter trend bounces towards it, just to get that kind of quick, you know, quick little spiky spike. You can see same type of thing, W, and they can lead to some quick bounces. Just something to keep an eye on. Man, Cardano's been such a hoe too. Man, I was trying to trade. I had 100,000 shares of this thing, and it just sat around. It's just stuck. You know, I think there's going to be easier. It's just moving around like a 5-10 cent range. I like this one a lot, you know, and I've had really some good success trading it. But recently it's just kind of stuck in that range. And, you know, as much as I like it, I'd rather trade something that's moving. This one does have a little bit of momentum. These altcoins are never that clean. That's always the problem. You know, so it's like, like how do you play this? You know, when you look at it, it's hard to, because like you get one big, so you get say you buy this trend line break, right? So you get this like quick spike. It lasts for 10 minutes. You go and take a shit, and then you come back. And maybe it's if you did a long one, right? Then you're just kind of right back to it. That should always be the guideline on, you know, whether you can get into something. If I have to go and take a poop because I ate somebody's Indian food, then I've got to, and then I can't trade it. If it can't hold for a poop break, it's not for me. It would be, yeah. It would be a shit coin deluxe. Look at this. So you can see, like, every time it pops, it's like a couple candles, and then it just dies. Yeah, I can't live like that. I can't live like that.
You know, I need relaxation, man. You don't keep such a youthful, exuberant look by always being stressed out. Right? If you want to be 35 years old and live like you're 25 years old, you got to have stress free so your skin stays young. Otherwise, you know, it happens. You'll have to hook up with old ladies. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Hey, Rodney, R. Hadney, how you doing, brother? Good. Anybody got anything that they want me to look at? I know we got a little short session. We were on forever last week because we had so much to talk about, but the market is just kind of pulling back. And so we need to make sure that we have a proper plan. I want you guys to really, really come in. And what I would do even is set some alerts around these kind of key levels on Bitcoin, and so that you don't forget. So like what I typically would like to do is I'll draw like on TradingView, I'll draw different support levels where I may be interested in. So like 10,000 is obviously one. So, set an alert so that, when you touch that area, you get a little text message, a little email, kind of some of that stuff. And, then the other one is, I'll set some around kind of 9,000. So I do think probably ideally the best RR is going to be, in that kind of 9,000 to 8,000 range. So, I want to set some alerts to just remind myself that this thing is coming, right? This thing is coming. Same type of deal. So I want you to, for LTC, right? Really anything in that 200 range. If it stays above 200, then that's going to be really bullish, by the way. If it doesn't even tap 200, like if it starts a reverse here, for example, it could, that's going to be really bullish. If that's the case and that happens, then this fake breakout will be negated and this thing will probably rip back over and, you'll see this thing at 250, 260 really quickly. The one thing, guys, to remember with LTC is that when it starts to move, it does a good chunk of its damn move in hours. You got to really be paying attention, sometimes with this thing. Happened to me the other time too. It's like, you get like a double bottom like this and it starts to go, I hit the first dip and then it's like, you pop 20 points in a few candles and then it's over. Who's asked about that VPI? Let me get into the stock world. So it looks like this is an ETF, sir. So yeah, so this is the general market. And so what we've actually had is after that kind of crash from a couple of weeks ago in the stock market, we've bounced up into the kind of resistance points and we are really overbought. And so now we're kind of bear flagging in. We could get a little bit of a pullback in the stock market, but we're definitely a little bit overbought. Good. Hey, Mr. Legan, how are you, sir? So, guys, Brian's asking, do you pay the same attention to volume on cryptos as you do when you trade stocks? I don't, Brian. And the reason is that, when you're looking at the cryptos, each exchange has its own volume parameters, right? So it's like, you got to pay attention to what you're doing on your particular one. But, or I would look at almost the main one. So I almost always look at the GDAX Coinbase. That's where I do most of my trading anyways, because that's where most of the volume is going to be. A lot of the other smaller exchanges, you may see like 5,000 coins a day traded in some of those. Like, how are you supposed to read the volume pattern on something like that, Good. The dragon. All right. Dragon. I can find the dragon. I can't find the dragon. Let's see if it's a stock, maybe. Ooh, if it's a stock, you definitely don't. This is a pump and dump. Yeah, see, there's not really even any trading going on that bad boy. We got definitely that's a run. And the ZRX too is a hoe. It's just, you see how you're just in a downtrend right now? You had like this one pop. So since like everything's been popping, you've had this like 2-day pop, and it's just been it's just coming down. Hey, Deb, don't be frustrated. It's okay. Always have a plan to get out when you get in a trade. Look, that happens to all of us, myself too. You know, don't fret about mistakes. The key to mistakes is just getting out quickly when they don't go your way. So, like for example, you did have some actual patterns to trade in BCH. You know, like you had this breakout that actually should be really powerful. The little sucker ran 100 points and it just died. You know, what are you going to do? You know, it had some breakouts that we could have traded, but when they turn, sometimes you just gotta, you know, when they turn, you gotta turn with it. Now, also remember, Miss Deb, that, you know, if it's an investment, it's different. Your parameters are different than if it's a trade. So, like what I'm giving you is what I would be doing, because I'm in as a trade, right? Like I'm a day trader or short-term trader. I do hold overnight, but I never hold for months. So like if it's an investment for you, then where your risk management principles are is different than if you're just in as a trader. If you're in as a trader, then it's like, oh, you're getting in and saying, okay, this is a breakout. And if it breaks out and goes, you're in. But if it goes against you, you're out right away. If you're an investor, you're not even looking at these charts on the right, because why would anybody care what happens on a minute-by-minute basis when they're trying to hold for months? And so there's just a little bit of a different, you know, there's a different mentality that you've got to always keep an eye on. Good, good, good. What else? Okay, so if it's a trade, that happens. So what you got to say is that sometimes you just got to figure out, okay, where are the levels of support that need to hold? You know, for need to hold. So if you think about it, you're on your moving average right now, and then there's some nice support right here. So, you know, if you kind of draw a line in the sand of what should hold, and, you know, if those don't hold, then, you know, okay, it's going to keep going back down. Yeah, everybody loves these Loomies, huh? So I don't personally see a pattern here on its daily or on the 15-minute. I mean, yeah, it's popped a couple pennies or whatever, but you don't have anything that says like, okay, you know, you don't have anything that says like, all right, like I need to be in this one. Oh, how do you trade on the USD on this bad boy? Oh. Oh, does the Kraken even have it? No. Hold on one sec. Yeah, this is not my particular type of tea. Like, I see what you're trying to do. It looks like pretty much every other crypto. It looks like NEO. It looks like ETH. They're all showing the same kind of intraday, but this one doesn't have as much room because it's already at the VWAP, where like something like ETH has more room to its VWAP. So if it ends up just being a quick spike, at least you have more room to run. Hey, Cocos, do you like trading stocks more than cryptos, or are you using more time on that? Good question. So, guys, my man Coco's asking you, do I like trading stocks or crypto? So, crypto's kind of new and it's fun, but look, the stock market is the stock market. That's where the big boys and the big daddies play. The stock market's just infinitely more fun because you have more opportunity. There's stuff moving around every day. I don't even trade penny stocks. The other things in the stock market, you get like margin, you get nice platforms, and you only have to trade an hour a day. You know, the stock market means you have set hours, you have volatility like the first half hour, and then, you know, your day is over. So that's the main reason I like stocks. I'm not going to be able to keep up with the cryptos long term. I'm already getting a little old. I mean, in trading years, I'm like 642. You know, trading years is dog years times 10. So you got to take however old you are, then times it by how old you would be in dog years, and then you've got to times it by 10, and that's how old you are in trading years. So I'm like 682. You know, I've got only a handful of good years left in me where I could stay up all day and all night. You know, that's the thing is I love coins, but a lot of times coins suck. Like, you know, the last few days, there hasn't been anything to really trade. If the altcoins are not going, you're just kind of trading ETH and BTC. The one thing with the stock market is that you can run scans. Every day there's stocks that have earnings out. They have earnings out or PRs out, and so they're really moving around like crazy. And you have volume and liquidity and fast platforms, and the brokers aren't shady, and you don't have to put your damn coins on a stick and hide them up your butt crack when you're going to the airport. So in that manner, I like stocks because you only have to trade a lot less, and everything's a lot more secure. But coins is like a kind of whole new world, and so it's fun too. Like I have a lot of fun. Trading. I have a lot of fun trading cryptos, and something new. The challenge of it all has been fun. I think the one thing is this year, I believe something's going to change in the cryptos, which is there's going to be a big rush to come out with high-end platforms and tools for traders. And so during this year, as you know, I think 2017 was about just cryptos coming to the forefront of just regular people and being on their mind. I think in 2018, the cream of the crop is going to rise, and it's going to be about who offers the most security, the best wallets, the best platforms, allows you to deposit money in US dollars, lets you short, you know, gives you margin. And there's going to be a couple of companies that do that, and they're going to run away with the market. And when those companies come about and let you do that, then coin trading will be a lot like stock trading. And that's when I'm, you know, that's when I'm full board with it. Anybody else got any questions? Good. Yeah, I did say. Oh, no, Cocos, I'm always going to trade, but, you know, it's more a matter of how many hours. My preference is to trade 30 minutes a day. But that's not possible with cryptos. Everything's so slow, and you're like just right. You're waiting like all day, and then you get that 2 candle spike. I don't like. That's what really could weigh on you long term. Yeah, I mean, Roku's going to have bad earnings. Who buys Roku boxes? Right? Nobody's going to buy. Who's going to buy a Roku box? Let's take a look at that chart. Is there a good market that allows trading of USD to altcoins? Nope, there is none. They don't even have, it's not even a possibility right now. Yeah, so like, this is the chart for Roku. Oh, by the way, Dave, if TC2000 told me they're going to be adding crypto pairs soon, when that happens, it's a game changer. TC2000 is the best charting platform in the history of man. I mean, you got all your scanners, and you can do modules, and there's just, it looks better than fucking TradingView, doesn't it? Like, it's hot, it's sexy, it's caliente. I mean, you got all your little scans you can run. Oh, when this happens, it's going to be a game changer. It is going to be a game changer. This is the one thing I like about stocks. See, like that first hour, you get like these big spikes. Oh man, thinker shit is the worst. But yeah, for free, it's good. Yeah, let's take a look at the SPY. So the SPY, after such a huge run, you pulled back to that 200 SMA, and you popped up into your moving averages, and now you're starting to kind of roll back down. So if you can't hold this 9 EMA here, I think you're going to start to come back down into these 260s. The NASDAQ itself, the NASDAQ after the big fall, it's popped up, but you've got a lot more support on the NASDAQ. So tech may stay strong. Depends on how the earnings are. But it looks, a little bit stronger than this. Yeah, you can see with TC2000 too. Like, say I have something here, I can leave myself a little note. Feel like, right? So now you got Denora to link you to the chart. You can put your own links. It's just easier. To me, you got your news feeds. And I know TradingView has all that. TradingView for cryptos is the best. But for stocks, this is the best. And then you can write your own scans. See all these damn scans I got? I got scans for days. I can make a scan for anything on TC2. I got scans for days. That's the thing is, you can just write good language and it's easy. Hey, Cocos, you can definitely use the 2-minute chart. Yeah, you can use the 2-minute chart, right? You might get some. I'll play around with that too. I never really even thought about it, but I see what you mean. Yeah, it's not great for Max. I wouldn't hold square through earnings necessarily, but your earnings are still in 6 days. It looks like if you can break over this trend line on square, you're really going to have a nice breakout for the next few days. It's more a matter of if it breaks below these moving averages here, then it may fall down into that kind of 40, 36 range. So you got to be a little bit careful. It's stuck inside the range. So it needs a breakout or it's going to come back down. A lot of that will depend on the market. Good, 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 good. I'll try to get some YouTube lives going for stocks too, or maybe we'll kind of combo them up sometimes. I never hold stocks through earnings. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm not an investment banker or Warren Buffett. So, right, if I'm not Warren Buffett, I'm not holding through earnings. Yeah, it could be Heinz. How you doing, by the way, brother? All right, peoples, I got to get going, man. I got a tutoring to do with one of my one-on-one students and at 5 p.m. Central Time, and I got to whip them into shape. Good question, by the way, guys. TG's asking, is there a reason why people use 20 and 15-day moving averages? They're just the most well-known. I use a 9, 20, and 50 primarily, so I also put a 9 EMA there. I find they just work well with momentum. You know, I find that's just what works with momentum. Guys, stay out of trouble today in the cryptos. Watching the next couple days for a potential reversal. It's probably around the corner. You know, it could drop. You know, we could have one more drop or something. You know, but we're closer to the reversal than we are the top now. Remember that. Always have hope. Always have hope. The other thing to remember, powder dry. What does powder dry mean? In the last crash of Bitcoin, I talked to a lot of our students, and they weren't able to get any of the damn Bitcoins near lows or ETH near lows. Why? Because they were hodling. They were hodling stuff from so high they didn't have any more cash. Remember, guys, as traders, the only thing you hodl should be your own balls, unless you're a woman, but women traders tend to have them too. I love you guys. Have fun. See ya. Peace in the Middle East.